Kids Playground!
Hooray!
This is the Darren Harris Podcast. Here's your host, Darren Harris.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Darren Harris, and this is the Darren Harris Podcast. Today, I'm real excited because my man, Jesse Stein, will be joining me on the show today, and we will be discussing the conflict over in the Gaza Strip. Now, I know some about it, but I don't know enough about it. Jesse knows more about it than I do and said that he would be more than happy to sit and have a discussion with me about it. So today I'm going to sit and pick his brain. But first, before that, how are you doing? How is everybody out there today? How you feeling? How's your mental health this week? I really want to know. I'm really, really interested in that. I hope everybody has had a good week. I hope everybody has been in a space where peace, because the world today, man, really is just not at peace. And I really do wish that for everybody because I struggle with that myself. It just finding a space of peace where I can get my thoughts back and not get ahead of myself and not be worried about what's coming around the corner. Or it's very, very important to me to find that peace. So I hope that everybody's week was filled with peace, and if it wasn't, if like I always say, if you want to talk, you're more than welcome to DM me, and we can sit and talk about it and try to figure out a way to help you find that peace, because I think everybody deserves it. So, speaking of peace, like I said, I don't know enough about this conflict over in Israel. To my knowledge, it goes back to biblical times. That's my mother being a preacher and all, and my family. I have a very religious family. Going back to those days, that's David and Goliath. The Philistines and the Jews. That's how far I guess it goes back. But I think the conflict today is a little different in the respect that some of the things that were put into place by men. Yep, I said it. Men, just regular guys that were trying to achieve a specific objective. What is that objective? I'm not exactly sure. But maybe I am sure. Maybe it's for I guess I am not sure. And that's why I really want to talk to my friend about this, because I'm curious, because like my friend is Jewish, but I also have Palestinian friends, and it's difficult for me. It's very difficult for me to sit and talk with them about these conflicts, because they don't feel like that. Not to a degree. They don't really feel like that. I know Palestinians and Jews who have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful relationship with each other. You know what I'm saying? They work together. It's harmonious. But it just seems to me like where it originated at, they are far removed from that. They're not really living those times. I hear stories of subjugation, and I would never know. I would never know. I live here. How could I know? How could any of us know? And that's why I think it's so easy for a lot of people to really not care. I think it's easy for people to kind of say, oh, it's not happening to us. I can't understand this, or I can't understand that. They don't understand point of views. And I try to the best that I can to try and understand both points of view. I really want to, because I don't want to say I'm pro-Palestinian or, pro-Israel or anti-Palestinian or anti-Israel. I really don't want to say that, because I'm not. I am pro-humanity is really what I am. I mean, that's if you really want to strip everything away from it. And it just seems like there's so many humans that are anti-humanity. It really is. It's baffling to me, really. Everybody screams how they want peace, but nobody's really willing to sit down and make sacrifices to negotiate for these deals. I mean, or for peace. It's really weird, man. It's really weird. I mean, are we doing the right thing by going in and invading these places? Are we doing the wrong thing by not going in and invading these places? Is how I see it. I mean, and not us per se, but even still, even us, especially when you hear stories of, people being oppressed, and you're not able to do certain things, and the terrorist regime that's in power, forbids you from doing this. If so, you'll be hanged or killed or assassinated, whatever it is. I mean, do we step in and intervene? Do we say, hey, listen, enough is enough? Or is it more like, this place has been, smacking on this and smacking on this and smacking on this, and finally these people have gotten up and said, hey, listen, we're tired of this. We need to stand up against you. Now, I'm not condoning anything that Hamas has done. I'm not saying that at all, but I think that Hamas may be standing behind the blanket of Palestinian people in order to do their whatever they're doing to the Israelites, to the Israelis, so that they can I guess launch their attacks behind the curtain of the Palestinian people. When I really kind of believe that most people, and this goes for everywhere, the Ukraine, Russia, everywhere, here, anywhere, people just want to live, man. They just want to wake up in the morning and they want to go to work, have a good day at work, come home, stop by the grocery store, grab some food, get in your car, drive to the house, see your kids, kiss your wife, watch some TV, smoke a joint, and go to fucking bed and do it again tomorrow. That's what most people want to do. I mean, stop me if I'm wrong. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Most people just want to live their lives, period. Leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. But there's so many factors in the world that prevent that from happening. And a lot of it is because there's about, and my friends and I, we talk about, there's about 13 or 14 motherfuckers in the world that don't like each other. And because of that, the rest of us have to suffer. The rest of us have to suffer. The rest of us have to fear for our fucking lives because this guy don't like how this guy does business in his country. I mean, we've made a lot of enemies over here, and because of that, I almost want to get the fuck out of here. I mean, really. I almost want to bounce the fuck out of here because I'm afraid. I'm afraid for my friends and my family here on our soil because it's just a matter of time, folks, before this stuff hits here. And the reason why it's going to hit here is because our hands are in it. But then again, our hands are in everything, aren't they? I'm going to take a quick, fast break. And when I come back, I'm going to be talking with my friend Jesse Stein about what's going on over there, man. What the hell is going on over there? This is Darren Harris Podcast. I'll be right back.
You bought a new toaster, the fancy one, that requires an app. Because pushing down a lever is the past, and having to make space on your phone for an app before you can toast is the future. Ugh, garbage. So you trade photos for the hope of toast. Memory acquired from memories deleted, you fire it up. the app, not the toaster. And after 4 pages of terms and conditions, you're invited to, no, not toast, create a username and password, neither of which can contain your email, your name, or the word toast. Ignoring the fact that your toaster knows your name, you finally reach the homepage, where you have to name your toaster. But not toaster, because that's taken. Ugh, such garbage. Finally, the newly christened Sir Toast-A-Lot is ready to not toast, because the Bluetooth won't connect. You could have just used the oven. But no, you had to buy the fancy toaster, the one with the app. Dealing with life's garbage takes strength. For that, there's Glad's ForceFlex Max Strength Trash Bag with RipGuard technology. And that's better than all good. It's all Glad.
Now, back to the Darren Harris Podcast.
Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to the program. Like I said earlier, I had a guest today. One of my dear friends has joined me on my podcast today. His name is Jesse Stein. Listen, this guy right here, we go way back. I met him back, I think, in about 2010, and we've been friends ever since. He's a fellow New Yorker. I trust everything this man says. He's a great person, and please help me welcome him to the Darren Harris Podcast. Hey, Jess, what's happening, man? How you doing, bro?
You're way too kind on that introduction. Thank you. I'm doing great, man. It's amazing to see you, hear you. Awesome. I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Listen, it is not an issue. And I mean, we haven't spoken in a while. Just recently we started, really kind of connected again, but we actually have a mutual friend who actually is going to, I guess he coaches us both through, different parts of the life. And it's my show producer, Jesse Yandel, is our mutual friend, and that's how Jesse Stein and I actually know each other. So shout out to Jesse Yandel. The reason why I really wanted to talk to you, because I've been watching a lot of news and a lot of television and I see a lot of issues going on in the Gaza Strip over in Israel and in Palestine. And I mean, and that's the thing. That's where I'm at, so my question is, I have several questions. My question are, what are, and this is just for people who don't know, what are the historical roots of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and how has it evolved over time? What do you think? Just your opinion.
Right. Well, so obviously there's historical facts we could base this off of, but I know we're trying to just convey how we feel about what's going on a lot in this discussion we're going to have. But historically speaking, there's a lot of different ways to look at it, as I've mentioned, because of course, Deron and I talked about this briefly before we took to the airwaves here with this. But basically, there's a lot of different things that are layered in this whole entire topic. And a lot of it, people don't really recognize. Like, for instance,
right.
People know about David and Goliath, right?
Right.
So David and Goliath was a Philistine, if you look it up in the Old Testament. I know you know this because of your background and everything else. But I'm just putting it out there for the other people who are listening, hopefully. And, he was a Philistine. Well, in actuality, if you look this up, historically speaking, the word Palestine is actually a derivative from the Romans, the Italians, who came up with that word, being that the Philistines used to be there.
Absolutely.
Before the Israelis, or whoever you want to call them, came over and took over, the Canaanites, et cetera, et cetera. There were a group of 7 different groups that Joshua, when he breached the walls of Jericho, pardon me.
Right.
And
by the way,
I'm already going on and on. Sorry.
Not to cut you off, though. I really did enjoy the clip of Conan O'Brien when he went to Israel. I enjoyed the shit out of that.
I'm glad you watched that, especially, pump your tires a little bit, as people might not know or do know from being podcast listeners. Our friend Darren here was a comic similar to Deon Cole, who you might know. Pre-Deon Cole days, we had Darren Harris over there, didn't we, Darren?
Yeah, I did. I spent a little time on the Conan show, and it was quite fun. Well, he was a good boss, by the way. He was a really cool dude.
That's awesome.
The clip that you sent me really kind of broke down a lot of where a lot of this really kind of stemmed from and came from. I can't really go back because it was so fast. It was literally a minute. It was literally a minute.
I recommend people searching Conan Israeli Borders intro. Sorry, just if they're
exactly. So you can plug that again. Conan Israeli. What was it?
Conan O'Brien, Israeli, Conan Without Borders. Pardon me. I
Okay.
apologize, Adam. This is
Conan Without Borders when he goes to Israel. Definitely check it out. If you
the
haven't checked it out,
intro. It's
go
a
check it
crazy
out because it
animation.
really
Yeah.
kind of does, in a nutshell, in like 60 seconds, break down the entire thing. I mean, like the vast, pretty much most of it. And I mean, I love the way that he kind of just paraphrased and kind of went through it because that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I mean,
know?
and I love how he threw in his comedy, like Bar Raphael, and then
Absolutely.
He's like, and then at the end, I don't want to ruin, but at the end, he's like, and now you have me, Conan. So we're gonna get down to the business.
Well, I did, which
Sorry.
leads me to my next question, which was, I mean, who do you think? I mean, just who do you think are the primary stakeholders in this conflict, and what do you think their objectives are? What do you think about that?
It's such a great question, man. It's just because again, like me, there's so many layers to it, and I mean, it really should come down to the people. And as you and I have discussed off of the podcast and off air when we were just talking as boys, but you know, Arabs and Jews can live together, and not only can they do, and they do, as we discussed. They do live together, and the primary stakeholders. That's who it should be. And I know you're a man of the people. I give you the People's Choice Award here because I know you're a man of the people. And I mean, that's who should be the stakeholders, Mr. Captain Obvious over here. But the real stakeholders in our world, and me and you're going to get macro here if I do this, and I mentioned what I have to say is money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's I know you know.
Listen, that's because I feel like that. I'll say it like this: us over here in this country, I think we have a large stake at this. I mean, this is. I mean, it almost has our name all over it, and I think that what has happened is it has spiraled out of control. It has spiraled out of control because it was always somewhat, not really, but somewhat manageable. The powers that be were kind of looming over, maybe making sure that everything kind of stayed cohesive. But somewhere along the lines, that kind of broke down. So it really became, in what I see, the stockholders or the stakeholders, which would be us, versus the regular people, man, the regular citizens of both these places, the Israelis and the Palestinians. And like I said to you before, I really kind of think the problem, and this is the problem with the fucking world, is there's like 12 or 13 motherfuckers that don't like each other, and we have to suffer. The rest of the population of the world has to suffer because, like you said, there are Palestinians and Jewish people living in harmony, not just living together, living in harmony. I mean, learning things from each other, exchanging ideas and doing it, on a regular basis, a daily basis. I mean, like I said, even in like people, my friends in New York. I mean, I got friends from Palestine and friends from Israel that live in New York City that work together, that go out and hang out together. I know some people that have dated each other. I mean, to me, it just seems like it just seems like those stakeholders or those powers that be are the ones that are fueling the conflict the most, because it seems to me that the you and I's, the me and yous, we just living our lives, man. We're just trying to live how we live.
Exactly. We wake up and we think about how are we going to put food on the table, how are we going to do things we enjoy, whether it's going and having a scotch or a whiskey or having a beer or just walking in the sunshine or whatever. We're not thinking about a lot of these other things, but the world is so massive now with the technology and everything, in my opinion, so many things, like you said, have kind of spiraled, to the fact that where me and you were younger, if you went and you used a credit card or a check, they're like looking at the signature. I mean, it's gone, bro. We are cyborgs. We are cyborgs.
Right.
If you look up the definition of cyborg, it is, a human that is bound to technology.
Absolutely.
We are all bound. So, like, we think about, like, Terminator or whatever sci-fi thing we want to think of as a cyborg. But believe it or not, I'm a walking cyborg. You're a walking cyborg.
Absolutely.
And that has a lot to do with all this. But getting back to just where we were, I just wanted to bring something up, and it's an interesting thing, and I'm gonna promote a video for all people to watch, yourself
Sure.
included. You should have the hour and a half to watch a cool
Absolutely.
documentary. It's a cool documentary my cousin produced from London, a guy named Roger
Sure.
Walters.
What's his
He's
name?
very pro Roger Walters, not Waters. He's an English guy. I know, isn't that great? Add an L in between, the Waters and Walters, and he's Walters. But he's a really interesting man. He's an entrepreneur and a philanthropist, and he's pro-Israel, and so am I. I mean, I'm gonna, obviously my last
And
name
what was the
Stein.
documentary called?
I'm about to get there. I apologize. It's called "Settling the Facts."
Settling the Facts.
And it's all about the West Bank. And I highly recommend it to everyone out there that may be listening and has an open mind. Again, some people will say it has a pro-Israeli slant. I would love to have somebody watch it who has a pro-Palestinian slant, if possible. Sure. But, it goes through a lot of the historical facts. That it's very micro. It's very educational. And, it shows a lot of stuff. He was not, right or left, even though he leans a certain way. He was down the middle. I mean, he interviewed so many Israeli owners in the West Bank and all these different places in Kfar and all these different places in the West Bank and in Jerusalem that run wineries and toilet making business and bakeries where they hire Palestinians to come in every day of the week from Monday through Friday to work at their company. And there's harmony. And these people, they go on vacations together and they have family barbecues together. And it's beautiful, man. And it's like, people want to have a two-state solution. And I'm not saying that's not the way to go. I don't know. I'm just Jesse here in Estero, Florida.
I love that. I love that answer, Jess. I love that. I
appreciate it. Yeah. So he just tried to portray the fact that we're talking about how these and the crazy thing about it is, and again, I know I'm going to come across as pro-Israel here, and I only say it because back in 1967, they attempted to give all of the West Bank, basically, 98% of it and 45% of the whole entire land of what is considered now Israel to the Palestinian Authority, to the PLO. And they didn't want it. They didn't accept it. In fact, they invaded and tried to get rid of all the Jews and the Zionists and didn't expect all these different, 4 different Arab nations, Syria, Egypt, they all came in and they attacked. And the Jews won, the Zionists won. And of course they took more land because this is what happens when you lose, unfortunately. I'm just saying. It's like I use this analogy and people have obviously told me this is not the way to do it. But, think about Mexico. They owned a lot of where we are right now.
Absolutely.
This was part of their land,
I've even heard people call Mexicans Native Americans. Because they're.
do you imagine they started just firing rockets, into Texas every day? Just started firing rockets, and they were like, "We want it. We want it back. It's ours."
First of all, Texas wouldn't be standing for that shit.
Well, I'm just saying this is kind of what's going on in a way.
But right.
And it's just really crazy when you get into the micro of it, like I keep saying. But they do live in peace. People don't see it because. Unfortunately, what bleeds. Yep, we're simpatico usually, but what bleeds is what leads, as we say in the business. I got a company with the name media, and people get on my case like, "Oh, you're the problem, the media," and I'm like, "No, man, we need that fourth wall, man. We need, that estate because if it's not there, then we're living in fascist freaking Mussolini, Italy, or Germany, or Russia right now with Putin.
Sure.
I mean, think about it. I know I'm going off here, but the occupation, people say, oh, they're occupying Gaza. Well, first of all, the Jews were in Gaza until 2005, and in 2006 they left, and Hamas took over, and look what they did. You look at pictures and footage of Gaza pre-Hamas taking over, beautiful, olive orchards and apple orchards and beautiful wineries and the Jews they had to pull them out. The Israeli government had to pull these Jews that live in Gaza out, kicking and screaming. They didn't want to leave either, but they had to leave because they said they're going to give Gaza up. Now, of course, people say the fences that came up, like you said, it spiraled, bro. But fact of the matter is, it was a beautiful place, Gaza, and it still could be a beautiful place.
Well, that leads me to my next question, which is, how has the role of Hamas evolved over the years, and what is the current stance in the conflict?
Right. So we discussed this briefly, and you knew all about it. But when they took over Gaza, Hamas, as you know, they threw all the leaders that opposed Hamas off of rooftops. I mean, they just took over, man. It was like, if you don't obey us. So this is how crazy it is over there. Okay. Just to get back to my cousin's thing with the Settling the Facts documentary, which anyone could watch on YouTube. And, you don't have to watch it all at once. But, there was a guy who worked for a gentleman there in Jerusalem, and he was a Jewish guy. He was a Palestinian guy who was working for the Jewish guy. He would, work for him, and he worked for him for 20 years. They went to each other's weddings of each other's children. And what happened? One day Hamas came to his door, and they told him, they said, if you don't kill this guy, we're going to kill your family.
Wow.
Right. Look it up, folks. I mean, I'm stumbling right now in my memory on the name of this, but I could find the thing and post it or whatever. But
that's crazy.
That happened. That's
I think that somehow that the people of Palestine have gotten kind of intertwined in this whole. I mean, because I think a lot of people just want to live like we live and just live, go to work, come home, play with your kids. But I think, like you said, when Hamas came through, they kind of really forced these people.
They're terrorists.
Yeah, they forced these people to be, to adapt to their ideologies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, ideology is a huge problem. I mean, think about it. What should there ever be an AK-47 in a children's learning video?
Absolutely
for any reason.
Not.
Well, if you look it up, that is what is part of the indoctrination of a lot of these people. Is to kill the Jew, you're going to be a martyr. You're going to go, up there to Allah, and you're going to get, all this different reward.
Do you think, like in this day and age, that these people believe that? I mean, do you think that they actually believe that, or are they still under the, oh my God, I have to believe it, otherwise they're going to kill my whole family? I mean.
Well, again, like I was going to say, they're terrorists, so they terrorize.
Yeah, because I think sometimes they see that also, because I don't think what Hamas has done to Israel is 100% accepted by the Palestinian people, and vice versa. I don't think that what's going on from the other side into Palestine is 100% accepted by the Jewish people. I think, as a matter of fact, I see a lot of conflict, with Jewish people and Palestinian people saying on both sides that the whole shit is wrong.
Man, it's really messed up, man. It's such a difficult topic too.
It really is, man. I mean, it's to me, this is why this to me is why the whole thing is fucked up, man. Because I mean, people are people, man.
Yeah, we all bleed red.
We all bleed. We all love our families. We all want to see our children grow up. We all want to get laid. We're all the same, man. That's what the thing I don't understand is why does it have to be so definitively against this? And I go back to the same 13 or 14 motherfuckers that don't like each other, basically spreading that amongst their population. To really kind of put these ideologies out there in the world and make, just kind of to make the world what it is today.
Yeah, they want division for whatever reason. I just don't.
I just think the whole conflict is kind of silly. I mean, I think the whole conflict is kind of silly in the respect that,
it's great. It's great.
Only from this standpoint. I think it's silly from this standpoint, and the fact that, people are people, man. People everywhere have a right to exist. They have a right to live. They have a right to have a homeland. They all do. Everyone, the Israelis and the Palestinians, they have a right to have a homeland, a place. I just don't understand why it's got to be, it's either our homeland or it's either, it's got.
A lot of it goes back to the Torah, the Bible, the Old Testament.
Right,
if you really want to, I hate to reel it into that.
Well, you're exactly right.
I'm a man of faith. And this a lot of
But
this
see,
depends
just some people are saying that this right here has nothing to do with that. This has everything to
they can
do
say whatever they want, right?
because really what they're doing is they're mashing it on Netanyahu. Because they're like, hey, dude, you're kind of, you're being a little heavy-handed.
Yes, and he is a whole nother podcast that we can do.
Yeah. Which we listen. I would love to. We can have that too. We can sit down and have that. We can talk about. Because I'd like to know. I'm not Jewish. I really would like to know though, because you're my friend. You know what I mean? And you're important to me in how you feel about this or what's going on. I know it's got to be on your mind. I mean, and I have some other friends.
So real quick, how it's on my mind. I'm sorry. Let me just take the talking stick for a second.
No, go.
I'll tell you, it's on my mind because I am a man of faith. I was about to say, and you were kind of like, why is this going on? And I hate to be so rudimentary about it and basic. But like I'm a guy who I reconnected with my Judaism about 15 years ago. Say, for a lot of time, like in college, I took philosophy, I took religion. I tried to learn like why. Me and you were like that. We're like, why this, why that? But somehow it came back to me. The good Lord above sends you things, and sometimes they say the hand of God will place you in places and do things to you. And, people think, you're just seeing this. It's a coincidence. I'm a man who doesn't believe in coincidence and all that stuff. But getting back to my main points were going to be these two things. One of them being, I've prayed for Israel for many years now, every day of my life, because I do a thing called tefillin, which is binding your heart and your mind, to Hashem, to the Lord. Sure. And every day I do that, part of that is praying for the peace of Israel. So before October 7th, Israel has been in this person's mind and brain, even though I've never been to the Holy Land and everything yet, believe it or not.
Really?
At this age, I still haven't been there. I had a birthright that we get as a bar mitzvah and a bat mitzvah. I could have gone, but I went on Grateful Dead tour, as you probably know, Darren. And my mom was like, come on, Jesse, get your shit together, go to Israel, go on Dead tour. But at that point, I was the third of three and she'd given up, but I digress. So I've thought about Israel many, 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 many years, every day of my life prior to this occurring. So you can only imagine how much I think of Israel since October 7th, bro, just to answer that part. And to go all the way back to my first thing I was going to say is, do these people believe truly that that's going to happen to them if they kill Jews and they'll be a martyr, God forbid, or whatever might happen, or they get away with it? Because, you can look it up also, like Hamas. Right. They pay people annually a certain amount for how many Jews they kill or injure. Like they're on the book. Yeah, you can look that up too. They are on the books. Yeah, there are prisoners right now whose family in Gaza receive an annual, stipend, whatever word you want to use, because they've killed Jews and they're in jail for killing a Jew, or whatever. It's wild.
That's shit, bro.
Yeah, they really, really want people to not live in harmony for whatever reason. Hamas, the river to the sea is no joke. Like that's the other thing. Like I know it's just recent, and people say it much more often than not. And the funny thing is like, they've went up to people, these comedians like you and myself, they'll go up to people at these rallies and they'll play, okay, what river? What sea? And they don't know what river. They don't know about the Jordan River.
Right.
They don't know about the Mediterranean. They don't even know what river to what sea. They don't know what they're saying.
Right.
What the river to the sea really means is get rid of everyone like me. And I can't, as you know, push me and I will resist, and
I know.
And that's October 7th, man. Push me and I will resist. Now, given, the living conditions, we could go on and on. But anyway, so do they believe it? I don't know. And it gets back to belief in terms of like Ishmael and Isaac, Abraham, the father of all these three monotheistic religions that basically are the tentacles of this entire world right now, being Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. They are all Abrahamic religions. I'm just going over this for other people. I know you know this. Darren,
Sure.
This is just something that some people don't realize. Like,
which is very good, by the way, Jess. Yeah, preach on, brother.
The Last Supper. I just was talking about this with my mom yesterday. Like, some, believe it or not, some people don't realize Jesus was a Jew. Some people don't realize the Last Supper was a thing we call in Judaism as the Seder dinner for Passover, which was signifying the exodus out of slavery. You know what I mean? Like, some people just don't really connect the dots for whatever reason. I'm getting chills as I'm saying this.
Listen, I have told people, I said something on my podcast a couple of weeks ago, and people really got mad at it. I told them, I said, you do realize that Jesus was not a Christian, right? We made that up, right? Motherfuckers made that shit up, right? Jesus was not a Christian. He was a Jew.
He was like a rabbi, dude.
He was. He had
a following.
He was not a Christian.
Congregation.
Yeah, and people get, oh my goodness. Yeah. So hang it up. Jesus was Jewish.
Very much so.
Just like, listen. Just like Muhammad was not a Muslim. You know what they were? They were teachers. That's
Correct.
what they were. They were teachers. They were before their time. They were smart men. They were smart. They were smart men who cared.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
deeper. And
what they did is so far, far, far away from where we fucking took it. I mean, and that just shows me, and this is why, I'll tell you what, Jess, and sometimes this is why, this is another podcast too, I have a problem with religion. I mean, I'm starting to have a big problem with religion.
Okay, I'm going to go right now. So you know what I tell people? I tell people I have a love-hate relationship with religion because I love it so much, bro. It is so deep within my heart and my soul. I love.
I know. Ever since I've known you, bro, you've been like, I gotta go to the temple. Like bro, you kicked me out of your house to go to temple.
But I also hate it. I have a love-hate with it because I hate how it divides us, Darren. I hate it. Not me and you, by the way. I mean us as in the macro.
The world. What the world has done to it. Listen. I'll make it even more specific than that. What man has done to it.
Not women.
Not women. Men. What men have done to it. And it's for me, a lot of the purity has gone away from it. Now we got, Agent Orange up here holding the Bible like, it's a ham sandwich, and everybody's like, oh, he's the most, godly man in the world. Yeah, while he's grabbing him by the fucking pussy, right? Yeah, great.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I'm just
I'm with you, bro.
And in that, I'm like, listen, John Stewart said something really good, by the way. He said, you don't own Christianity. You don't own the United States. You don't own anything. You don't own anything. You don't own Christianity. So it doesn't belong to you. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
the American flag.
Shut the fuck up.
How about as you're rolling down the list, I'm just thinking how they've appropriated the American flag for themselves. And it's like, I'm American, you're American. Well, you love America. Now, you don't like what's going on in America, but I know you love America.
Oh, I was born. Listen, I'm born on the 3rd of July. Of course. I stand up. I stand the fuck up, but
I got my American flag in my apartment.
But I don't like the bullshit that has all of a sudden, and let's just face it. I know
you're proud of America. Well, you're different. You're a black man, and we got to get into that.
That's another podcast because a lot of the wool, and not just foreign but domestically, a lot of the wool has been coming off of America. I mean, and all of the shit that has gone on and over the years, and how America has done not just the world wrong, but people of color, people, Asian people. I mean, everybody has done. I mean, America, the institution of America, these American values. I mean, do you know that there were people back in the 50s, 40s, and 50s and 60s that would go to church and they would preach at church, and then they would go out and watch lynchings.
Jesus.
And they would go out and watch these things and then proclaim to be these holy, upright. And the reason why is because they didn't consider black people to even be human.
It's just disgusting.
But that ideology is still here. and it's being challenged now, and that's why you're getting all of these Blue Lives Matter flags and all these other things, and that's why you're getting all this pushback from all these other. Well, why you got to talk about this all the time? Why you got to talk about racism and reparations? And well, you have to.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Each person's recovery depends on the facts and laws of each client's case. Top Dog Law, how may I help you? Yes, sir. I'm glad you picked up the phone. I was just in an accident, and they tell me you're the person to call if I want top dollar. Is that true, sir? That's true. Okay, let me tell you what happened. I was driving. I was hit by a drunk driver. Driver went through a red light. I'm actually at the hospital right now. Doctor's telling me it's bad. Doctor's telling me I'm going to be out of work for some time. Top Dog, I want you to know I trust you. That's why I'm calling you. You've been highly recommended. I know a couple people that you done got rich. I want the same treatment. I want to get rich. They saying I ain't going to be able to walk again. I want to get rich. Imagine if it was you. How would you feel? You was walking yesterday and now you're not today. How would you feel? I'm going to tell you how I feel. I want to get paid. Follow him on Instagram at Top Dog Law. Any accident, it's TopDogLaw.com.
Now, back to the Deron Harris Podcast.
I definitely want to have you back on the show. So,
Okay.
In a nutshell, what would you like to see happen in the future as far as this conflict is concerned?
Okay, personally, the way my stance would be right now is I really feel like just the way the world got behind getting rid of ISIS, if you recall, when they were beheading everybody, I want to say like 2012, whenever that was.
Sure.
I feel like I would love for the world itself to realize Hamas is just as terrible a terrorist group as ISIS, and have a campaign where, because, I hate to be so, again, simplistic and basic, but I do feel like as an American, getting back to that topic, like, Navy SEALs, like, why have they not gone in to get the American hostages that are there out of that fucking goddamn godforsaken Gaza Strip yet? Like, I don't get it personally. I mean, I don't understand. Again, like I said, I'm just Jesse Stein here in Estero, Florida.
It like I said, again, it all comes back down to politics and these same 12 or 13 motherfuckers, who don't,
But you get my point
it really
about that.
is a lot of this.
Yeah, but you get my point about that when I say my stance is like, let's get those hostages the fuck out of there. These women are being assaulted.
I think let's get the hostages gone, and let's remove the civilian factor from this whole conflict. That's what I would like to see. Let's have some compassion. Let's actually have some humanity. You know what I mean? Okay, we're at war. We're going to fight. Okay, cool. But these people, man, they got nothing to do with it, man. This little girl laying here on both sides, the Israeli little girl or the Palestinian little girl, they don't deserve that.
I have to say this because it's always on my mind. And I hate being so analogous, but when Ukraine got invaded, the first thing all the men did was take up arms and get their women and their children the F out of there. If you remember, to Poland and to other countries,
tried to get their families out
to the west. So Egypt would not open that freaking.
That's shitty. And that's shitty of them. That's shitty of them.
I don't want to point fingers. I mean, I feel terrible bringing this up in a way because, like, I have a friend who's dating an Egyptian woman, and I can't really bring this up because she'll go ballistic on me, for terrible word to use, but she will go crazy on me because she knows I'm Jew, and we don't talk about it. But to me, I'm like, okay, Poland opened up their borders and their schools for all these Ukrainians because that, you want to use the word again, motherfucker Putin, who took over Crimea. You want to talk about an occupation? Where was the world? Where was Obama? And I love
when
Obama.
that shit was happening.
Where was he?
Wow, bro.
Dude. I'm just saying that is like, I don't understand, but you throw in it, it's the Jews, and all of a sudden nobody fucking cares, bro. They're like, oh, the Jews fucking did it. And I hate to be on my soapbox like that, but as a guy who's Jewish and a guy whose grandmother used to say Warsaw was a beautiful place until it wasn't, because she left before Hitler got there. Thank God, and I'm alive because of it.
Yeah, man, no kidding.
I get emotional, but it's it's just really difficult. But I would love. I didn't mean to take your talking point there, but
No, man,
I would
you're
love
good,
for
bro. You are good,
for the
Jess.
civilians to be out of there, though. I would love, like what you're saying. I would love for Egypt to take them in. I would love for them to do what Poland did and take in these Ukrainians. Like, why? Why didn't they open up that border for them? Sorry, it's just,
Like I said, bro, it's the same. It's the 13 motherfuckers. It's the 13 or 14 motherfuckers, bro. That's exactly what it is.
I'm gonna make you a t-shirt that says we gotta get rid of those 13 motherfuckers.
Yeah, we gotta get rid of about 13 or 14 motherfuckers right across.
John Lennon should have wrote a song. All we are saying is get rid of these 13 motherfuckers and give it a chance.
Bro, that's really what it is, bro. It's like, really, it's like, I don't like you, and I don't like you either. So now I'm not going to talk to you at the UN meeting. Well, I'm not going to talk to you either. And the next thing you know, now because I don't like you and you don't like me, our countries have to fight. Man, fuck that. I think personally, this is what I think, Jess. This is what I think. If you want to run for public office, and this is how I think we should elect presidents in this. If you want to run for public office, you need to start working out for real. Because you're going to fight your fucking opponent for real. And if there's any kind of war or conflict, the two of you motherfuckers fight, and we'll put it on pay-per-view. And instead of fucking, if we can vote on,
I love your entertainment brain there. I love that's entertainment.
Listen, bro, wouldn't that be the greatest thing in the world to see the fucking?
I'm in. I'm here for it, as they say, the kids nowadays. I'm here for it, bro.
And I really.
Politician death match. I've never heard that idea in my life.
Listen, a politician death match would be. Listen, a presidential cage match would be the shit. Like fucking Nikki Haley and DeSantis and fucking Ramaswamy and fucking
there's brackets. We could bet on this shit.
Yeah,
it's fucking Hunger
bet on these motherfuckers.
Like the Hunger Games.
Just fucking put them in a fucking cage and just fucking chairs.
That's funny, man. You're funny.
That would be fucking hilarious. I would love to see that, but. I mean, really,
How
that's
do we
what I
make
think.
That
really,
happen?
I really, honestly think that should happen. That if you don't like me so much, leave my country out of it because they don't know you. You know what I'm saying? They don't know anything about you. I'm gonna leave your people out of it because they don't know me. The only thing I know you, motherfucker, and I don't like you, motherfucker, but I like the person over here from your country. She was really cool. She was a nice person, but you are a motherfucker. So I'm gonna leave her out of it, and I'm gonna beat your fucking ass. And that's what I would like instead of.
I would like for everyone to just
our children, to all these different countries to fight, or to our children, or even the Israelis, or instead of them sending their children to fight and die for some motherfuckers they don't even fucking know. I think the motherfuckers who have the problem with each other are the ones that need to duke it out. They need to fight. I
don't even know if they know why they have a problem anymore with each other because
they really don't. They really don't fucking know. They just know that they need to keep up the status quo, bro. That's all it is.
The thing is, it just keeps going on in the cycle, and then they bomb this one, and then they do a terrorist bomb in this one, and they send rockets into this one, and it just keeps cycling itself, and it gets to the point where people are just like, I call myself a bubble wrapped American Jew. I don't know if I've told you this, but that's what I tell
That's
people.
Hilarious.
Because I am a peacenik. I want peace. I want love. I want harmony. My mom raised me up that people should love, not hate. That black, white, yellow, green, orange, purple, magenta, it don't matter, bro. Right. And it's like I hate the fact that these other people that exist in the world, and I have to be at peace with that there's people that don't want the peace. They just don't want peace. They don't even know why they don't want peace. People in my congregation, a guy explained to me, he goes, you know what, Jesse? You don't have an uncle that died because a terrorist got on a bus in Jerusalem and blew it up when he was on the way to work. So you don't have the hate towards the Muslim like I do. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, right. I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm a bubble wrapped American Jew. I don't have that experience. My experience is hanging out with my friend Ola and smoking a joint and watching Price is Right and then going out golfing and having a great fucking time and thinking to myself, man, if this girl was Jewish, I'd probably want to marry her. But because she's a Muslim and her dad's an imam, that ain't happening. That's
crazy. Hey, Jess, thanks, man, for coming on my show, man. I love you, man.
It went by in a second. I love you too,
Listen,
brother.
I love you to death, brother. You got to come back and do it again.
I would love to.
Okay. Folks, I'm going to take a quick, fast break. And when I come back, I'm going to wrap this whole thing up. This is the Darren Harris Podcast. I'll be right back.
Hello,
Bar Blue with powerful stain-away enzymes. Malupit magtanggal ng dumit mancha, pero di masakit sa kamay.
Diba dumit mancha? Hello Light Bar Blue. Isang laban lang yan.
As tested ang cotton and polycotton sa mancha, malupit sa kamay mo, mabait. Try Bar Blue, manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified, world-class quality.
ACS.
So that was awesome, folks. It's always good to talk to Jesse, man. I love it. He's such a sweet guy, and he really is sincere. He really is a sincere person. I've known Jesse since 2010, and like I said during our conversation, we have a mutual friend, and I'm very grateful for meeting Jess, or for Jesse introducing me to Jesse. It's both of their names are Jesse, but I want to thank you, man, for introducing me to this guy, because he is very intelligent. I do enjoy having conversations with Jess, and I think that his podcast is going to be great. I mean, please tune into it, folks. Tune into it. It'll be out soon. It might take him a couple minutes to get it together, and that was one of the reasons I had him on today, is so that he could kind of get his feet wet in this arena, and he did great. I think he did absolutely fantastic. So thanks, Jess, for being on the show, and most definitely, man, you got to come back and we got to chop it up about some other stuff, because we always have good conversations, and it's always about some real shit. So I really, really do appreciate you, man. I love you to death, and we'll have you back on soon. So I think that's going to do it for me for this episode of the Darren Harris Podcast. I want to thank everybody who has been with me. Wait a minute. Let's back that up. I'm going to try that again. I want to thank my mom and my dad. I got to thank my parents, folks. I thank my parents every single week, every single podcast. And the reason why is because they gave me breath. Hear all this breath, all this shit I'm spitting out at you. My parents, man. My parents are the reason that I'm able to sit here and do that. So I love them, and I thank them for this very much. I want to say thank you to my wife, because she is super supportive of what I'm doing. And without her, I wouldn't be able to do this. Without her encouragement, I don't think I could do this. I don't think I could keep up with it, because she makes sure that I keep up with it. And because of that, I've kind of done it myself now, and now it's become a habit. I have to sit down and I got to connect with you folks, and that is because of my wife. So I want to thank my wife for introducing me to you guys and for keeping us connected on a weekly basis. I want to thank my producer and my best friend Jesse Yandel, man, for introducing me to Jesse Stein, and for being and just for being a good producer, man. Thanks, man, for the encouragement. Thank you for the ideas. Thank you for, just things to bounce off of somebody. Just something like a voice of reason, a voice of grounding in this podcasting journey that I'm on. So I want to thank you for that, man. I want to thank Gentry Thomas for giving me the opportunity to spread this stuff around. And I like I said, I always say it. I want to do right by you, man. So I do appreciate you giving me this opportunity. And last but not least, I want to thank everybody out there who is listening to my podcast. I definitely want to thank you. And I know my closing is a little long, but I'm real sincere about it. And I really, really, I want people to understand how sincere about it I am. I want to thank you guys for sticking with me. I know I'm still a little all over the place with the topics, and sometimes I still babble, and I do have some crutch words in there. I probably went through a few of them today. I know I did. I didn't call them out, but I got to get back to calling them out. But thank you for sticking with me, because of you, I do this. It's that simple. Because of you guys, I do this. I do this. When my man Jay told me that, I get, I guess, 2,000 unique listeners or something like that. A couple times it's been a couple thousand. A few times it's been like 600 or 700, a few hundred unique listeners every week. And that just, that excites me. Now, I know everybody doesn't stay. I know people turn it off in the first couple of minutes. But there's a select few that listen to my podcast, man, that are listening to this right here, right now. And to all of you who've sat through this podcast and you've listened. I love the shit out of y'all. You hear me? I love you to death. So, until next week, thank you again. Until next week, I'm Darren Harris, and this is the Darren Harris Podcast. Sorry, I got something in my throat. And I'll see y'all later, man. Peace.
You've been listening to the Darren Harris Podcast. Subscribe to the show, give a good rating, and everything you need to know is at DarrenHarris.com.